Hey, what's up everyone? In today's video, I wanted to do a walkthrough on how we can extend our Salesforce agents with Apex Invocable Actions. We would usually do this when we need to bring in extra data into the agent context, whether that's making an API call, applying complex filter logic, or handling advanced business rules. Invocable Apex gives us the flexibility to go beyond what's possible with point and click configurations. So we will jump into the demo. So we'll demo the employee agent. I have one set up that's connected to a stock API that retrieves the most current stock price. We will break down how the agent's configured, how the topic and the asset are configured, and we'll take a look at the Apex class. So without further ado, let's jump into the demo. So I have my org pulled up. I have my stock price agent, and we'll go ahead and we'll prompt it to give us the price. What's the price of CRM? So this should return the current stock price of the Salesforce stock. So I prompted it, and it just tells me the current price of CRM is $233.63. And now we can ask it about something else. What about NVIDIA? Gives us the current price from NVIDIA, and we'll do one more. So you can see I could ask it about any stock passing in the ticker symbol, and it returns the current price of that stock. So how do we get this done? First, we'll talk about the agent. So I just set up a new employee agent and created one topic on it. The topics get stock price, gave it a high-level description that the user will prompt it by passing in a ticker symbol, giving it some ideas of how the user will prompt it, like what is the price of the ticker symbol, like can you tell me the price of Apple or whatnot. And then I'm giving it some very high-level instructions what to do when we enter this topic. I'm telling it should run the Apex class that's attached to the asset, making sure it's just providing the response and not hallucinating and making up data. If the user provides multiple ticker symbols, to make sure to process those one at a time. And if the action fails, usually if the user would pass in a ticker symbol that didn't exist, we will return a prompt that's saying like, hey, we couldn't retrieve the price of X, whatever they passed in. So next we'll take a look at the asset configuration. So again, very, very high level. So actually, before we move on, let's talk about the topic. The topic should be very non-deterministic. So you shouldn't tell it like first do this, second do this, third do this. Do never do X if you don't have Y. I feel like the agent gets very confused when you give it rules like that, and it usually the output usually isn't what end user is expecting. So very, very high level, make sure to name your topics in a clear and concise way what the topic's actually doing, and make sure not to overload it with a lot of content and a lot of instructions. I found when I do that, it does not perform very well. If I simplify things and just do things at a very, very high level until it enters the action, I usually get the results I am looking for. So moving on to the asset. So the asset instructions, again, very high level. You'll retrieve a parameter, which is the ticker symbol. You'll run an Apex class, and you will return the output of that Apex class. Then I have my inputs and outputs. Again, one of the inputs is called symbol, and it's the ticker symbol, right? 1 to 5 uppercase letters, and this will be passed into the Apex class. And the output, it should be expecting a string response of the output. Now let's take a look at the Apex class. So I got a very simple invocable Apex class, an invocable method. I'm giving it a label. I'm passing in a string, list of strings for the symbols. So that's one caveat with invocables. They are always expecting a list. You can't pass in a single string. And same with the output. You're always returning a list and not a singular output. So I'm passing in my list. I am indexing into the first element of that list. I am setting up the path that my callout is expecting, embedding or adding my symbol to that path. I'm using a named credential to authenticate into this API. And then once it responds, I am it's responding with a JSON object. So I believe when I looked at this earlier, it gives you the high price of the day, the low price of the day, yesterday's price, and the current price. So all we really care about in this example is the current price. So I'm getting the current price and creating my string stating that the current price for that ticker symbol is whatever value it returned. Otherwise, I'm returning a string saying like, hey, we could not get the price for that ticker symbol. Very, very simple. I know some of the examples will be a little more complex. So if these invocable functions, we could actually set up inner classes for inputs and outputs. So say you have multiple inputs, you have like 5 or 6 of them, and same thing with your outputs. You're outputting maybe the name of whatever you're returning, the price, and so forth. This way, it will be a lot more organized instead of doing one long string. So that's something you could look into. Great. I think this wraps up the video for today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me here on YouTube, Medium, or LinkedIn. I'm always happy to answer any questions. And if you guys have any recommendations for future videos, please let me know. Alrighty. Have a great day.